When I say amazing, you say grace. Amazing.
Grace.
Amazing.
Grace.
It's time for the quiz thing. Have you ever sat down for a big meal and someone's like, who's gonna say grace? Charles, would you like to say grace? Or maybe you've heard someone be like, I'll say grace. Guy's great, guy's good. Thank you for his food. They're just saying, will somebody pray for the meal? So why do they call it saying grace? Where's that come from? Do you know the answer? I know. Is it A, grace is another word for thanks? B, grace is the lady who invented prayer? C, grace is what Jesus called prayer? Or D, grace reminds us to bow our heads? If you said B, you're wrong, but I extend grace to you. It's actually A. In pre-Elizabethan English, the phrase was saying graces. And basically what this meant was nothing but thanksgiving. So when you said your mealtime graces, it was a chance for you to sit and pause and be reflective and say, every good gift comes from God, even food. Every meal is a miracle, including broccoli. Yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again. Broccoli. Broccoli. So we say grace and we also sing about grace. I mean, one of the most known hymns of all time is Amazing Grace. The man who wrote this song, John Newton, wrote this after experiencing what kind of catastrophe? Was it A, surviving tuberculosis, B, surviving war, C, surviving a bear attack, or D, surviving a storm at sea? If you said D, you know your hymn history, and I'm proud of you. You got one. You got it right. So here's how the story goes. John Newton is on a boat, it's 1748, and all of a sudden this violent storm kicks up, and he starts praying to God. And at that moment, the cargo in the ship shifts miraculously, and it saves them. The ship sails on to safety. That starts him on the path to Christianity, and at some point he sits down and writes this amazing song. Way to go, John Newton. Amazing Grace was published in 1772, and it's estimated that we perform this song somewhere around 10 million times a year. That's amazing. Grace, the song that we're talking about right now, Amazing Grace. It's incredible. Grace is another title that he could have used. Anyhow, grace is something we talk about, something we sing about, but it's also something that can be really hard to understand or even accept. Imagine it this way. Imagine that you get this really important test back from your teacher, and there right at the top of it is a great big fat F. You studied really hard, but you didn't nail it. And then imagine that same teacher walks over, picks up that test, and rips it right in half, right in front of you. Doesn't count. Your teacher just demonstrated grace to you. You failed, but it doesn't count. Your ship was sinking, but the cargo shifted. Your fridge was empty, but the plate in front of you was filled. Are you getting this? Grace is something that you can't earn. It's not something that you deserve, but you get it. It has no limits or no expiration dates. So what can you do with grace? What do we do with this power of grace? Grace forgives your past, so you can be thankful. And grace sets promises for your future, so you can be full of faith. God's infinite grace gives you the power to be grateful and trust him in absolutely everything. So, say a prayer of thanks. Sing a song of his promises. You are amazing because of the secret power of God's grace. I'm the Quizman. Goodbye.
Awesome, guys. Awesome.